I just flew in today from Phoenix, so yeah, you know what? I'm having lower lumbar issues from always having a backpack on, like 24/7, all day, every day. And I'm so high maintenance. It's so sad. I've got essential oils, chamomile tea. I'm like, what am I doing? It's like I'm an uppity homeless person. Do you have any Grey Poupon? I'll be sleeping over there by Southwest Airlines. I don't know. Patty keeps telling me that I do too much, and, bless her heart, but you got to make hay while the sun is out, too. You got to make that money. I wish I could have her attitude toward money. She's, like, fearless. She's like, you can't take it with you, live each day like it's your last. So I'm on the phone with Chase Bank trying to explain my philosophy. That is a lot of money. But in fairness, I didn't plan on being here this long. So Chase Bank, perfect name. Always on your tail, Chase Bank. Well, I'm going to say it, folks. I don't think 15-year-olds should be behind the wheel. I was driving today, and the kid, he looked 10 years old to me. I know I'm getting older, but 15. Think about all the stupid stuff that you did when you were 15 years old. That was the year I tried to pry open frozen hot dogs with a steak knife, the pointed edge. And I still have the scar. I don't know if you can see it there, but my mom had to rush me to the hospital. Yeah, 15-year-old me should definitely be on the freeway doing 70. Yeah, I got to stay with my mom recently. I did a little run of shows in Arizona. And by the way, I got to do a show with Nancy Immons. She was there doing a guest spot on the Stir Crazy Comedy Club in the Glendale Mall. But yeah, we did a little show. When I was a kid, my mom, she used to drive me to, my theater, the plays, and on commercial auditions. And all these years later, now she's driving me to Yuck Yuck Chuckle Huts. She's like, will this kid ever get enough attention? Where does it end? I love my mom. We hung out a little bit together. She helped me pick out a new suitcase. She names everything in her house. By the front door, she's got a statue that holds a tray for her keys. And that's Jeeves. He's a butler. And she's got a little robot vacuum that she calls Rosie. Me, George Jetson. And what Rosie does is go around the house banging her head into everything. So you gotta like move loose cords and rearrange furniture. The dog's barking. I'm like, yeah, Mom, way easier than vacuuming. At Thanksgiving, we all get our own name cards, like it's a world summit or something. And I shake my sister's hand. I'm Jason Camarillo. Good to meet you. She makes everything from scratch. I think my mom's Martha Stewart. Like, by scratch, I mean she grows the wheat and churns the butter and personally lays the eggs. It's very thorough. She's really gets into it. She's adorable. She's 4'11". Yeah, barely high enough to go on the rides at Disneyland. 4'11". She barely makes that cut. Yeah, and now that she's retired, she's so creative. It's like this arts and crafts explosion. I walked in and she's painting rocks and creating bottles, and she's like weaving like visors. It's like Santa's workshop there, man. Maybe that explains her height. No, the reason I'm going on and on about my mom is that it's her birthday today, and I was wondering if you could help me sing happy birthday to my mom. Okay, are you guys ready for your next comedian?
Yes.
All right, well, let me first make sure he's here. Oh, good, he is. All right. He's also, and that's the other thing I didn't think about. I always worry whether you guys will show up, and then I booked the show on a Saturday, not thinking that the comedians won't be able to show up. So we got lucky on a couple of them, and then your next comedian will be coming to us from either his green room or his hotel room. A very funny guy. He has been traveling the country. I've worked with him quite a bit in Santa Barbara and Oakland. Put your hands together for the very funny Maximilian Robert Lockwood.
Wow.
Hey, hi everybody. How you guys doing?
There you are.
Good. Hi. Thank you, Jason, and thank you guys for coming out. This is so weird for me. I want to say right up top because not only have I not done a Zoom show before, like I did a couple podcasts during the pandemic, but for me, one of the things I was like, Zoom shows, I'm not sure whether or not like it's going to be real, it's going to be authentic, but especially with, the delay and potential lag and potential stuttering and everything. But I am so glad you guys are here. And one thing that Jason said over in the chat, but I'm not sure if people have the chat on, if you could unmute your microphone so that we can hear all the laughter coming in, we can have this, as much of a concerted, universal laughter and everything. That would be amazing. One thing also that I want to address is that let's see, especially in with the season, hex, spell, jinx, charm, beshrew, unchurch, blaspheme. Oh wait, sorry. I'm so sorry. This is a clean show. Jason didn't want any curse words. Bless and recommunicate and peace be unto all of you. And in case you're wondering, this is my actual voice. There's no voice modulator right now. This is actually what I sound like, and that's a really weird thing. I get that all the time, because you see me. I'm actually 5'7". All right. So with this voice and this baby face, you're probably like, where's that coming from? I'll tell you what, I have no idea. I don't know. I've honestly, I've never done a single drug in my life. So I guess whatever cigarettes my mom smoked, I'm getting the secondhand tones. So that's good, For me though, with this voice and my stature, sometimes I feel like an Oompa Loompa. And like the Allstate guy had a baby. Okay. For me, it's just like, are you in good hands? Couple chuckles. Everybody else on stream, they're looking at me. They're like, well, I understand the slogan, but why is he dancing? What's going on? And most people didn't have a childhood. Either that or they're like, well, we like Johnny Depp, and they're wrong. Because Gene Wilder is the OG. And no, I love Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. Actually, speaking of, I do that joke all over the world, and I was in, this year I was actually doing shows in Canada, in England, in Mexico, and that joke does not translate. All right, that does not translate at all, because it turns out that they don't have Allstate outside of the U.S. Right? Up in Canada, they don't have All Province. All right, that's not a thing. In the UK, they don't have All Empire. Still not a thing. So yeah, I had to readjust. I had to make it like maybe it was like an Oompa Loompa and Barry White had a baby, and so it's just like can't get enough of your love, babe. And you guys are never making love to that song ever again. I apologize. I do. I realize either that or you're gonna see my face and it's gonna do it for you. So you're welcome. And in that case, you're absolutely welcome. It's actually, there's a true story. I was when I was starting doing stand-up, I was down in Santa Barbara, and like Jason said, I worked with him down there. I was actually dating the manager of a tanning salon down in Santa Barbara, and she was like, you should come in and get a spray tan. And I was like, no, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't at all. I already identify as an Oompa Loompa on stage, okay? I don't want to look the same shade of orange as you and complete the unsung. That would not be a good look. She was playing hardball though. She's a very shrewd businesswoman. She was like, "What if I gave you a 2-for-1 deal?" What do you say? You know that's a steal. Hey, come on now.
Uh-oh. Stuck.
She was really selling this. I had to do it. I had to do it. 2 for 1. That's a solid business model right there. So I had to go in. I mean, right now I understand it kind of looks like I'm Casper. Years ago I was full on trumpet. I trumpeted up. And so I actually, and as Jason said, my name is actually Maximilian, which is not a terrible stage name. That's a terrible real name, is what that is. I love it though. I love it. I always go by Maximilian. I used to go by Max until I found out it was the most common dog name. However, this is a true story. Going on Maximilian hasn't fared that much better because I used to work retail and I had a customer come up to me one time. They looked at my name badge. They were like, "Oh my gosh, my pig's name is Maximilian." Don't tell me that at all. That is not what I need for my self-esteem, right? Like my pillow is damp enough already. It does not need any more tears before I go to sleep this evening. A couple of you guys are like, "Oh my gosh, is he sad?" I'm fine. I'm good. I am right as rain on happy pills here in 2022. Let me tell you, I am super good. Here's a side note though. Your shrink doesn't appreciate it when you call your antidepressants happy pills. Further side note, your psychiatrist doesn't appreciate being called a shrink. They don't. My psychiatrist looked at me. They were like, "You realize that a head shrink is a psychologist. I'm a psychiatrist. I prescribe pills." And so I was like, "And how does that make you feel?" And that's reverse psychology is how that goes. That is incredibly clever. And you're going to think about that later and you're going to laugh absolutely so much harder. Like, actually, Maximilian has a point there. Yeah, I love Maximilian. I do. I actually, when I was working retail, this is another true story. I don't make things up. Instead, I just go off what I see because the world is hilarious. I used to frequent this local Starbucks, and Starbucks baristas are notorious for not spelling your name right on the cup, right? Maximilian, that's a lot to put on anybody. All right. I'm working a show up here in Medford, and on the billboard, my name is spelled incorrectly. So even in text, not a thing. It can email you, you'll still get it wrong. But again, the baristas, I'm not going to put this on them. I've misspelled it a couple times myself. But again, they're supposed to write your name on the cup, and I was in there day in, day out, so I was on a first name basis. What the barista was doing was on the cup, she would write MAX, comma 000, comma 000. And that's exactly how you spell my name. I'm so impressed. You got that right the first time. Like that's how I've signed every check ever since. That's perfect. I love it. It's weird actually.
You got it now?
Yes.
You just now got it.
It's cool. I think in the chat, if you go to my website, it's spelled correctly there, but in the chat itself, it's not. So I'm just saying it's everywhere. This is something I've had to deal with. One of the worst things actually about having Maximilian Robert Lockwood as my name is having to bubble in Scantrons. All right. Like I was on the SATs, everybody else was halfway through their math section. I was on the first L. I was like, "You guys, come on." I'll tell you this, it's 2022 now, and I'm a huge nerd. You know, I'm a big nerd, and so I've been I've been really excited because one of my favorite franchises in the whole world, the biggest franchise in the whole world, doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter, you know, what language you speak, you already see like there are sequels coming out, there are spin-offs, you know, it's all over TV, news coverage. COVID is just everywhere. It's and there are new variants. It's got more variants than Loki, right? Because COVID is the Marvel Cinematic Universe of viruses. That's how it is. You know, friends become enemies, enemies become friends. Fauci got it, so you never know what's coming next. There's a whole conspiracy like, oh man, it came out of Wuhan, China. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It was Marvel Studios that came up with the virus because they wanted a solid year and a half between phase 3 and phase 4. Just so people had time to digest Endgame. That's a very nerdy joke, and if you laughed at that, you're exactly my audience. No, with COVID, with the whole pandemic, I realized that the people I feel worst for are the bank tellers, because it used to be when you walked into a bank with a mask on, like stuff was about to go down. Right? Nowadays, you can walk in the middle of August in a full balaclava, and they can't bat an eye. You know. I was thinking about it. Very, very like adorable to have like a COVID conscious bank robber. You know, like he comes in, he's like, "Everybody get down! Everybody down on the ground! 6 feet apart! Get 6 feet apart! On the ground right now!" And you behind the counter, put the money in the bag. Put the money in the bag. Zip the bag, and now Clorox wipe. Clorox the handles. Clorox the zipper. I don't want to get anything from you. And manager, hey manager, do you have any hand sanitizer? Oh my gosh, the hand sanitizer is right here. I'm so sorry. You can never be too careful. Like, you know, between the trigger and the door handle, I'm not sure what I touched. And then somebody on the ground sneezes and you have to shoot him. No, anyway.
Funny.
Thank you. I'm glad that was funny, because I was worried it might be like a hair dark, but at the same time I was like, people watch movies. I was thinking about it. So I don't know how old I look, because right now not only do I have fantastic lighting, but I also have like that filter on and everything. And you know, for me, I'm actually 33. I'm actually newly 33 and a half, because I keep track of these things. I know it doesn't look like it because I moisturize. And, yeah, but the thing, I've had the conversation, I've been with women, I've had the conversation many times at this point where, you know, they're like, oh, do we settle down? Do we get serious? Do we have kids? Heaven forbid I should have kids. I am, that is an awkward conversation waiting to happen, is what that is. I'm afraid, because I don't want to, like talking about the birds and the bees, right? Like, I don't want to talk to my peers about the birds and the bees, let alone the next generation, you know, because you're looking down at them. You're like, okay, the thing about the birds and the bees is they're extinct. It turns out climate change was a very real thing. And you know, the politicians of the day, they just couldn't see the forest for the trees, you know, and they look up all innocent and they're like, "Daddy, what's a forest?" And you're like, "Oh no. How am I gonna go? Let's get in the van. We're going to the Arboretum. We're going to go to the Arboretum right now." And that joke was for everybody that knows the word Arboretum. Everybody else, after the show, you can Google it. I'm not explaining it, all right? But as soon as you look it up, you're like, actually, that joke makes sense. And smart joke. That's a smart joke, Maximilian. Like I said, I've never done. I was thinking about paper clips recently, and like I said, I've never done a drug in my life, but for some reason my brain was like, let's dwell on paper clips. I was thinking about paper clips and who came up with the paper clip, and I realized that the person who came up with the paper clip must have been like, you know, I need to staple something, but I have a fear of commitment. That joke is hilarious. All right, that joke is I'm so proud of that joke. Right, again, as soon as you look around your house and you see a paperweight, you're like, I wonder what Maximilian thinks about this one. And to that I say, please email me. That joke is half written. I don't know. I was thinking about binder clips. Binder clips is like, you know, you have a fear of commitment, but you like hugs. That's very cute. That's very cute. You can pass that one on to everybody you'd like. Jason, is that my time? Looks like it.
Yeah.
I will leave you guys with that. Thank you so very much for having me doing all this. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Maximilian Robert Lockwood, everybody. Let him hear it.
What a name.
Yeah, that's a lot of name, Maximilian. That's a lot of syllables for one dude.
Can you spell it?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm the one who misspelled his name in the chat thing, by the way.
We want our money back.
We want our money back. Yeah, it's so funny, man. So, by the way, let me put this up while we're talking here. You got some good comments there, Maximilian, if you want to check them out. Robert asked where you are. Is that Death Star you got there? Maximilian's already disappeared. Maximilian's actually doing a show tonight. I think he had to get over there, so he might have just left.
It's like Harry Potter or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, my mom said that he looks like he's 15. In which case, you shouldn't be driving. Yeah, Maximilian said that his name was the most common or Max was the most common dog name for all dogs. That was my mom's dog's name, Max. Ernie said that's Doctor Strange. Is that where the Sanctum? Oh, he should get a bottle of Fuegarita for that, Tony.
I think so.
All right. And by the way, Nancy Yimmons is a shrink and a comedian, and she loved the shrink joke. So there you go, Maximilian. No offense taken. All right. Are you guys ready for your next comedian?
Yes.
All right. Well, you're in for a treat. She has joined us once before, back in the beginning. She is now back to her hometown of Boston. Put your hands together for our friend, Holly Johnston.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much for having me on. This is I haven't done a Zoom show in probably over a year and a half now. I mean, the pandemic in Texas has been over since like January 2021, but everybody else, they were like COVID who, that kind of thing. I am vaccinated. I got the Johnson and Johnson vaccine because I don't do research, and apparently it's cool. It's cool. I'm allowed 65% of the way into bars and festivals, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I also look super young. This is the adults that look like children episode. Yeah, I'm 25 years old. I am definitely not where I want to be in life. Yeah, Austin actually isn't my hometown. I actually moved out here last year, because Texas is pretty cool. I moved out here last year, and but they have these things in Austin. I don't think they have other places. They're homeless people that like to dress up like parking attendants. Yeah, if you don't know, basically what I'm trying to say is that I fell for it. That's what I'm trying to say. I was just like, oh, this parking spot costs $20 and a cigarette. Yeah, here you go, man. Yeah, they're very real. Yeah, Texas is interesting. I'm living in a house right now. Like I said, I'm 25 and not exactly where I want to be in life. Like I was talking to my grandfather the other day, and he told me that when he was my age, he opened his own pharmacy.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. I share a fridge with two women who hate me. That's what I do. Yeah, I do. I have roommates. My roommate's actually sleeping. I hope, because if not, we're gonna have some explaining to do tomorrow. But yeah, I'm living with women, and that has just never worked for me. But yet I keep doing it. I don't know why I keep doing it. That's like moving to a new city and just walking into a Target and being like, yeah, I bet this one's gonna have a different vibe. But this one's gonna look completely different. It doesn't. It never does. It's always the same. They always have those cute little signs hanging up like live, laugh, love. But it should say fight, cry, leave. Because that's usually what I end up doing anyway.
That's
yeah,
funny.
I don't know what it is about. I don't get along with female roommates. I just always I can never tell when they're mad at me. They'll do this thing where they pretend everything's cool, and then a couple months later just tell me everything I'm doing wrong all at once. Just imagine if cops did that. Just picture it. Picture it. You're getting pulled over, let off with a warning. Then a couple months later, a speeding ticket comes in the mail with a note that says, So it's actually really been bothering me. My roommate, she texted me the other day and she was like, hey, can you put your toaster away? I didn't know this was a thing people did. You know, I've been toaster out my whole life personally. I didn't know about the toaster in people. I was never taught about them. I didn't know they existed. I just never had that experience before, you know, because I don't get it. I really don't get why people put their toaster away. Like when I wake up in the morning, I don't unplug my lamp and just put it in the closet. Like, won't need this for today. Better hide it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. She's like, well, is there anywhere I can put it? I'm like, how about in my bathtub? That would be a good place.
But in our bathtub.
Her bathtub.
Our bathtub.
That would be murder. I don't get it. It's never worked for me. Like I said, you know, I lived before when I was in college, I lived in a sorority house. We were all in different sororities. It was kind of a weird one. It was more of a sorority halfway house, truthfully. We were all trying to get out of them, you know, we're all trying to get clean.
Oh, they didn't create a car.
I had this one girl though, she used to laugh at me all the time. Yeah, Bob, I don't know if that's called justice. I think that's called homicide. I think that's the word I'm looking for, Bob. There was this one girl I lived with and she used to laugh at me all the time. And her laugh sounded like someone stepping on an old floorboard. She was like, that joke works way better when I'm standing up because you can see my foot moving. It's pretty cool. 1 point for live comedy. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just never worked for me. I don't like landlords. I don't like them. You know, I just pray that my landlord doesn't have a son. You know. Because if he does, that kid's still at soccer practice. That kid never, he doesn't answer the phone call, you know? His son's like, Daddy, it's raining. And he's like, why didn't you put it in the portal? I don't get it. You guys have a concern, you better put it in the portal. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So far, the easiest living situation I've ever had has been with men. You know, a lot of women are afraid to live with men, but so far it has been the most peaceful living situation. Like, they don't care about the things women care about. Like, your female roommate will send you a picture of food that you left out and be like, this is unacceptable. Your guy roommate will send you a picture of food you left out and be like, this is still good, right?
No, I said, sit down over there.
Yeah. We got a disobedient cat. Yeah. God, I miss Zoom shows. Yeah, like if my male roommate walked into the kitchen and the toaster was there, he would just be like, whoa, we got a toaster? That's sick. I can finally stop microwaving these Pop-Tarts. Yeah. The only thing I had to get used to living with men is the way the apartment looked, you know? There's just no decorations on any of the walls unless you count the Stolen Street sign. That says Weed Street. I just walk in, there's like a futon next to a folding chair. Oh my God. With like a microwave. I'm like, are you guys creating a break room? What is happening in here? I just walked in one time, there's just a gaming chair just in the middle of the living room. Just no computer, no TV, just the chair. And I was like, what is this here for? And he's like, oh, my barber's mobile now. And I'm like, enough said. Enough said. I miss living alone, truthfully. That's been my favorite, you know. I had a studio apartment when I first moved down here, and studio apartments are great if you have OCD. Cause I'd just be laying in bed like, oh no, did I remember to turn the stove off? And then I just roll over. So easy. It's worth the Amazon driver walking in and seeing your bed. That's how worth it is. It's not as dramatic though. If you get in a fight and you're like, I'm going to bed, you can't like slam the door. You just kind of back up a little bit. You sleep into bed. Miss that place. Yeah, I've had a lot of different jobs since I've moved here. Our most recent job, I'm a personal caretaker for a man with Parkinson's. Not qualified. Just found it on Craigslist. Yeah, which is convenient because they also had nursing degrees on Craigslist too, right next to the fake vaccine cards. It's pretty much all there. Just kidding, guys. I told you I'm vaccinated. Johnson & Johnson represent. Yeah, it's kind of a weird job though, because I basically I really can't help him with a lot of things. I just get him McDonald's. That's literally all I can do. It's crazy because I'm kind of a mess myself. Like I shouldn't be looking after anyone. Like I show up, there's duct tape on my rear view mirror, my car's falling apart. I walk in, my purse for some reason is always unzipped. There's just like keys and a diary, just everything just falling out of there. And his wife is like, this is who's going to be looking after your life for the next 6 hours while I'm at work. Like I get why he's screaming. I get the screaming. I would be screaming too. He's a brilliant man. He used to travel the world and lecture on art and philosophy. He's written and published a number of books and articles. Really smart guy. Now he has to rely on someone who barely got their bachelor's degree to make him a sandwich. And I'd be screaming too, is all I'm saying. He's kind of hard to understand. So sometimes when he says something to me, it's just what I say I'm just saying what I'm saying to myself, but I don't realize it, like he'll mumble something and I'm like, oh man, he just told me I should have gone to grad school. And his wife is like, no, he said he needs a spoon. Oh, that was me saying that. That's who that was. I get those mixed up sometimes. When I first moved here, I got into the food industry. Make some noise if you ever worked in the food industry. Usually that gets a long sigh, truthfully. That doesn't usually get a whole lot of, I've learned a lot of rules in the food industry though. Rule number 1, if her bag is nice, she isn't. It's true. It's true. They don't like when you're honest to the guests. They want you to lie. I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard for me to lie. I'm bad at lying. And when the guests would ask me questions, it's like, oh, what do you usually eat when you're here? I'm like, oh, what do I usually eat? Pistachios behind the dumpster, actually. That's what I usually. You see, they don't give us breaks here. You guys staying for dessert? That's something like that. Thank you guys so much. My name's Holly. You guys have been great.
All right, Holly Johnston, everybody. Nicely done. So very good. I'm going to put this up while I talk to you real quick. First of all, where in Texas are you, Holly?
I'm in Austin.
Oh, you're in Austin. All right. Well, we got Houston in the house. I know John Schumacher's here.
Oh, cool.
Here we are. We're here.
Our neighbor.
Your neighbors. Yeah, I stay in touch. I got stuff out there. I just love how I love when I see a young comic who's obviously a comedian. Like there's an old Yogi Berra saying, there ain't much to being a ball player if you're a ball player. Like it's so immediately recognizable. So I hope you never go to grad school and you never give up on it, because I see you doing big stuff, Holly. Christine Elowitz said that your roommate's related to her ex-boyfriend, by the way. Funny stuff. Okay, well, we're going to keep this thing rolling. Our next comedian, I actually stretched the first comic because he was having trouble logging on, and I thought we were going to have one less comedian, but he's still going to give us a set because he's fantastic. He's working on a Holland America cruise ship, so he's in Canada, and we're going to hope that his Wi-Fi holds up. How about a warm welcome for my old friend, Kirk Smith? Where we at, Kirk?
Come on, Kirk.
Go Canada.
Coming in hot.
I hope this is working. Is this working? Can you hear me?
Where? Oh, there you are. There you are, man. I got you. I
All
got
right,
you.
great. All right, just cut me off at any time if you can't hear me. Oh man, yeah, she was great. Those are great jokes. That is my favorite though, to go into a fast food place and listen to the complaints. Oh man, I was in there one time. This lady's like, "We're in Taco Bell, and honey, you're a taco." She's like, "There's a hair in my beef burrito." I'm like, lady, you're at Taco Bell. You're lucky there's beef in your beef. That's my favorite. This is what my fat face looks like. New York City, where I live, this is called the off-duty cop look. But if you live in the suburbs, then I probably look like a failed youth pastor. So that tracks for everybody afterwards. Tracks for everybody. I feel like the old man of the group because everybody was talking, and I'm a little older than everybody. My kids are 23 and 25. Yeah, I got married when I was 10. I did do a thing that kind of tipped my hand to my age. I'm out. I bought a pair of pants at Costco. Now, if you're over the age of 50 and you're buying your pants at Costco, no big deal. If you're under the age of 50 and you're buying your pants at Costco and your friends find out about it, my friends started making fun of me mercilessly, started calling me Kirkland Kirk. It really hurt because it's accurate. Like, listen, you can call me whatever you want. I pull out this Costco card, any bar in the Midwest. Yeah, those single moms know. They go home with me. They leave in the morning with a case of toilet paper. I'm talking over my laps. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic. Do my best here. Pacific. Where am I? Pacific. Doesn't matter. Anybody hear this? Feels like a fever dream. We're talking about my kids. My daughter wants to get married, and this boy she's with doesn't want to ask. The new generation of men, very brave online. You know, these YouTube comments, very brave. In person, not as much. You have to ask, buddy. Listen, I'm old school. You want to marry my daughter? You have to come over to my house, knock on my door, and fight. I am dating myself. I'm a widow, so I'm starting over, doing it again, and it's a nightmare. I always tell people, if you're in a tough relationship, just stay in it. There's nothing out there. I've dated 2 diabetics, so clearly I have a type. Type 1. They love a sugar daddy. They love a sugar daddy. A lot of people have toes in this room. Huh? Tight room. Now, sometimes I'll get a little sad, being alone, and then I'll see a couple argue. Oh, it just warms my heart. Sure. I may cry alone at 2 in the morning in my own apartment. At least I'm not crying at 2 in the afternoon in an Applebee's parking lot. Oh, that's nice. I did a 2nd grade teacher. That was very nice. Very positive. It's great for your ego. You're hanging out at parallel park. That kind of screwed it up. She's like, Kirk, that was terrific. Your mom would be so proud. Taking out, she gives me those gold stars. I was hanging out, my buddy's like, you have a watermelon sticker on your forehead. Oh yeah, I was a good boy earlier. I forgot. Now, my best friend in New York is named Alex. He's a lunatic. I went on a date with the girl, really pretty girl, nice, no connection, no spark between us. I'm like, I'm not going to see her again. He's like, you didn't like her, buddy. Do me a favor. Send her my way. I'm like, dude, dating doesn't work on a referral basis. I can't be like, Lisa, I had a nice time with you. I'm sorry, it didn't work out. Hey, listen, I'm going to hand you off to my associate Alex at this point. Going forward. If I could please get 5 stars, please. 5 stars. The last girl for me, it didn't work out because our star signs didn't line up. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, she was a Scorpio, which means that she's loyal but also jealous. And then I think that the zodiac is horse crap. So it was hard. It was hard. Don't get upset, girls. It's not horse crap. It's just an opportunity to take no personal responsibility for your own actions. No blaming calendar animals. Oh, honey, I didn't want to go through your purse. It's my star sign. I'm a raccoon, baby. I want to get my trash behind the hands in there. The thing about looking like a Mormon Groupon is I actually grew up in Ecuador and El Salvador. Weird, right? My name is Kirk Smith. He's a gift, guys. I met Jason out in LA, but I'm actually a New York guy. And when I moved back like 3 years ago, I moved back to the Bronx where I'm from. And my buddy was like, you're not scared to live in the Bronx? It doesn't scare you at all? I'm like, no, man. I grew up in the 80s in El Salvador, which is like growing up now in El Salvador. Then we moved to Ecuador. And Ecuador's a little country. New York City, the big group of Latinos, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and Mexicans. There's a big three. Every once in a while, I'll meet somebody that's like 3rd generation from Ecuador. And then they won't believe me that I'm from Ecuador because I look like a Bible salesman. They'll be like, you're from Ecuador? Really? What part? And then I'll tell them the truth. La ciudad, Guayaquil. El vecindario Ordesa, pero también vivimos en Chanza. La Garzota en el sur. No sé si lo ubican. And then they'll say, I don't speak Spanish. I'm a big World Cup guy. And U.S. qualified this year, finally. You know, honestly, I know one guy, thanks, but it's qualified. It's a big country, you know. I mean, we should qualify. And you know who qualified? Mexico. And they have 100 million Mexicans. The U.S. did not qualify. We have 100 million Mexicans. How does that work? You know, and last week, the president at the time was like, some of these Mexicans are rapists and murderers. I'm like, some of them play defense. Now, I wrote down some jokes I thought I wanted to do, but it just says keep going, which is a shame. I know what I was going to say. Americans, we are great at geography. And I don't know why exactly. It's an interesting thing. But one of my favorite things in the world is when somebody's very confident but wrong. It just makes me so happy. I don't know why. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go see some family in Sweden. And he goes, oh, cool, Sweden, the Alps. Bring me some chocolate. And if you didn't laugh, that's Switzerland. No, that's Switzerland. And then he goes, no, it's not. And then I was like, what's that? And he's like, yeah, it's the same place. And I was like, continue. I was like, yeah, it's the same place. You know, like the Netherlands and Germany. And then I was like, wow, do you think there's like 4 countries over there with like 40 different names? This week we're in Spain this week, or as the locals call it, Italia. Dating is a nightmare. I do have a face that appeals to much older women. I can't figure out exactly why. I think I like older women of like simpler times, you know, like picket fences and no AIDS. I was at the Walmart, not bragging. You ever say to yourself, let's go to the nice Walmart? I was at the nice Walmart, and thank you, one lady, and the checkout lady was sitting on me, and she had to be at least 75, at least older lady. I don't know how old, and her pickup line was, "I fought in the war." It's a weird thing to say, you know.
Yeah, whoa.
I didn't say it, but all I could think of was Union or Confederate. I just thought it. I didn't say it. And I was like, no, I'm not interested. And then she got mad at me. Oh, what are you, too good for me? What are you, a Boy Scout? And then I was kind of interested. I used to be a Boy Scout. And I was thinking I could finally get that badge for helping the elderly. She's like a meerkat without any teeth. Too far. Just jokes, kids. Just jokes. Don't get upset. Dating jokes, I feel like, is what you guys like the most. I dated a lawyer for a second. Hard to get a lawyer. You know, lawyers argue for a living, right? But she's a woman. Also, just better at arguing than I could not win an argument. Let me give you an example. One time, she forgot to pick me up from the airport, and I was upset. We talked about it, and I apologized. Somebody just clear their throat and die? What happened there? I think I did my time. I'll do one more joke. I don't want to go long. I know you cut the time, so I don't want to abuse it, Jason. I'll do one more joke and I'll get out of here. What joke should we do that I haven't done yet? We can do this. I haven't done this yet. I did meet Jason out in LA. I lived out there for 5 years. It was not for me. No parking, nowhere to park. Sometimes I would park 9 blocks from my apartment. I bought a Razor push scooter in the trunk of my car, go the 9 blocks from my car to my apartment. I don't know if my neighbors even knew that I had a car. They would just see me leave in the morning a scooter, come back on a scooter. I'm like, where's that guy going? I don't know. He said at a date, and then he got his little scooter and just pushed away. My buddy was like, what happens if you meet a girl? What happens if you bring a lady over to your place? That's a good point. I bought a second scooter. This is the difference between LA and in LA. I had a meeting once. An agent was like, hey, you have a good look. You can totally play a doctor. In Ecuador, I could just be a doctor.
All right. Let him hear it, everybody. Kirk Smith, everybody.
I hope that worked.
Funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that your connection held up. I've never been able to do a Zoom from a ship. That's that Holland
I can
America.
see land.
Amazing.
I can see land, so I'm right.
Better
for
than
it.
Carnival.
Oh yeah, the Carnival Wi-Fi, man.
No. It's not the Walmart of the seas. I'm on the old man of the seas.
Walmart of the seas.
Yeah. We got a lot of Carnival people here, man.
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
Walmart.
Kick your ass. You know that about them.
Don't come around here no more.
Walmart of the seas. I like that though.
It is funny.
Good. That's funny.
Oh, it's like a Greyhound on the ocean. It's great.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Super funny. I really love that referral basis joke. That was my favorite.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to keep this thing rolling. Your final comedian, she's been waiting patiently. She's also, I invited her back. She was one of my favorite people that we've had on the show. I've been waiting to ask her back, and she's always working, but we just got lucky tonight. She got a great Dry Bar comedy special. She also works all the cruise ships. She is coming to us from Florida. A big warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for Maryellen Hooper.
Hi, guys. Well, this is actually my first performing to some penguins. So whoever brought the penguins, that's very cute. Oh my gosh, Jason, you always have the best shows. Kirk, Maximilian, Holly, so funny. Holly, a little too cute, little too young though. Just want to cut her open and eat her heart. Still work. But do you guys find that no matter how old you get, you still feel like you're in your 20s in your head, right? I was working on a ship and I was hanging out with the cast members. They're all in their 20s, like Holly. And but I was blending. I was so proud. I was having fun and hanging out and laughing. And then a new one walked up and he goes, "Oh my God." And he points to me and he goes, "Is this your mom?" Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Even if you're thinking it, don't say it. Do you know what one little sentence like that is going to cost me in plastic surgery? It's so sad. I'm actually a mom. I have younger kids, and my husband and I have a actual 15-year-old, and he is starting to drive. And it's just as bad as you said, Jason. It should be illegal. I don't know who came up with the idea that they could do that, because there's just my fingerprints in the dashboard, because it's just ridiculous. But I have a 15-year-old and I have a just turned 18-year-old, and I've been locked up with them for the last 2.5 years because of COVID. Do you remember what teenage boys smell like? Oh my gosh, we would go hiking in the woods and a skunk would go by and go, "I'm offended." My boys walked past me one day and I didn't smell anything and I thought I had COVID. I'm like, "I don't smell." So then we just use them as their test. No, oh God, no COVID. I'm good. But we did have a little scare. I'm sure everybody has had a scare. We had to go get the tests recently again, and everybody was negative. But was it wrong of me to say that mine was positive? My family's downstairs and they think that I'm quarantined up here. I can get a little mommy me time. Oh my gosh. Dude, you guys are all you're all still in. Do you know that you can go out? Do you know the okay if they've let you out? I mean, but I always getting used to it. I think you guys are really smart. It was so fun. I couldn't believe I actually had to put lipstick on at 10 at night. So, but I did it for you people. I don't know what you guys did. My husband had the bright idea. Oh my God, I have to tell you, my husband had the bright idea. He was going to grow a quarantine beard. I was like, oh my God, two can play that game. He totally tapped out after 3 weeks because I was beating him. Sore loser. Oh my God, I looked into my makeup mirror. I had a hair that was like this long. Oh my, and I said to my husband, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I didn't see it." I think that's why we lose our sight as we get older, that we'll stay married. My husband's like, "Honey, you look beautiful." I'm like, "Aw, thank you." And he's like, "Oh, no problem." It's so gross. So what else did we do? Oh, I decided I was going to declutter my house. That's what I was going to do. Well, at first I thought, oh, I got all this time off. I used to complain I didn't have time to work out. And then it turns out I had all this time. I just don't want to. So pressure's off of that. So so I was watching that KonMari. Am I saying it right? That decluttering lady. She's this Asian woman, and her whole thing is, if it doesn't bring you joy, then you just throw it away.
Throw it out.
Oh my gosh, I got rid of half of the stuff in our house. I mean, it's all my husband's, but you know, none of that brings me joy. None of that brings me joy. What? Oh my God. Oh, you're not done. Okay, I can wait. So yeah, my husband. So this is what he thought was a good idea. He took a video of me while I was sleeping, snoring. And he's like, "Oh my God, listen to you." And he shows me this. I'm like, that is not making me feel sexy. In my head, I am Sleeping Beauty. He's like, not unless it's Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. We've been married too long, I think. We've been married for, let's see, we've been married for 21, but we're together for 27. It made me wait 6 years. I feel like I should get credit for time served. 27 years we have been together. That is a long, long time. I don't want to say the magic is gone, but the little things start to bother you. There's some married couples. Do you know the little things?
Like chewing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, will you stop breathing?
Yeah.
So annoying. Oh, and he used to do so many things for me. He was very, very sweet. Like he would get things for me, get my door. Oh my gosh. I went down the block, 1 block away to the gas station to fill up the car because he didn't do that. And I had the door open. And when I got out, I don't know, I bumped it, but the door closed. It was like slow motion because I knew that my keys were inside. So I was standing there. I called him and I said, "Honey, can you please bring me the extra set of keys? I locked my keys in the car." And he goes, "We have AAA." Okay, you are literally 1.5 minutes away. I suggest you don't make me call AAA, because if I do, I'm going to immediately dial 911 and tell them to meet me at the house. And then I get home and I'm so mad at him. And later on that night, he actually has the nerve to go, "Hey, how you doing?" Why don't you call AAA and see if they can get your motor running? I don't know. It drives you nuts. So what else did we? Oh, we were watching TV, a lot of TV during the pandemic, which apparently you guys are too. I don't blame you. We watched, we got all of those streaming things now. We have like Netflix and Hulu and all these things, but it drives me mad because we don't actually watch anything, because my husband likes to watch all of the trailers and then put the things that he wants to watch in a wish list, and it's listed. So we don't ever watch any of the things in the wish list, because when we turn it on, we have to see what's new and watch the. So I have watched 2 minutes of everything on Netflix. Drives me nuts. But he was watching HGTV a lot, which that's not a channel for men. I don't mean to be sexist, but that's a fantasy channel for women. Yeah, we watch HGTV and fantasize about projects getting done in 30 minutes. By the Property Brothers. Exactly. It never ever is the same. So that's what we did. We went to Home Depot during the yes,
A lot.
during the pandemic. Did you too?
Yes, a lot.
Oh my gosh. And it drives me nuts, because I've told my husband, if you would clean out the garage, you'd have aisle 7, 8, and 9 of Home Depot. Because he buys the same thing over and over again because he can't find it in the garage. So I told him to clean up the garage. So do you know what he did? He took a pegboard and he hung it up in the garage. And then he hung up his little tools on the pegboard, but then he drew an outline around them like they're dead. Like, in case they run away, we have a description. Got all indignant. That's how I know where everything goes. I'm like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe I should draw an outline of your underwear in the hamper. And I'll go in the bathroom and draw a line around the toilet. How long have you had that tool and you don't know how to use it?
2 minutes.
That was his reaction. It's just that we have so many things that aren't getting done. I mean, my husband bought an air compressor. Do you guys know what that is? Who's a married couple? Who has a compressor? I know if you're married. Oh, there you guys. I see ya. Do you know what it's for? Do you have any idea? What does he use his for with the hat? New York hat? Yeah, there you go.
Washing our patios and everything.
What do you do with it?
What?
Power wash our patios and everything.
Oh, you're power washing with air. I don't know how that works. That you must have a whole different attachment than we do. My husband said you could fill up the tires with the air. Oh, did he say that too? Yeah, I'm like, you know what? This compressor cost $1,200. That's free at the gas station. Okay, it's not free. Okay, what it
25 cents.
$1?
25 cents.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at math, but how many tires you got to blow up to break even, Sparky? Oh my gosh, you guys. He bought a nail gun. Do you have a nail gun?
No, but I know what that is.
Yeah, he got a nail gun. I don't even know what it's for. He bought a nail gun because I asked him to hang a picture on the wall.
All you need is an excuse.
He took that thing. I'm like, what? He goes, the nail gun's much faster than a hammer. I'm like, how busy are you? You don't have time to hit a nail a couple times? No, busy guy. It's like, that picture ain't going nowhere. I'm like, that's awesome, honey. It's on the wrong wall, but whatever. Oh, there's Jason. I'm done. Oh, I was just venting. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for doing this. It's so much fun.
All right.
So fun.
Great job, everyone. A little love for Maryellen Hooper. So funny.
Awesome.